Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. I'm Caesar. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Arta Finance, and it's a pleasure to welcome you all to the launch of Arta AI. This is such an important moment for us, so it's wonderful to be surrounded by partners, clients, angels, and friends, many of whom have been with us from the very beginning. And to all our friends on live stream, joining from around the world, thank you for taking the time. Arta is a labor of love that my co-founders and I built to solve a pain point that we felt in our own lives. A number of us had worked at Google for a while, and as our careers progressed, we found it harder and harder to manage with just retail investment tools, banks, brokerages, keeping track of everything in our spreadsheets. At some point, we started using private banks, and we realized a few things. Private banks opened up a whole different world of wealth management with access to alternative assets, much more systematic ways of investing in public markets, and access to experts. It felt like there was this whole world of financial superpowers that we just had not known about. However, there were a few big challenges. The minimums were super high, so we could only get going when we were well into our 40s and 50s. We wished we could have started way earlier in our careers. The experience was extremely old school, manual, pricey. Everything else in our lives could be managed on our phones, why not our wealth? So when we dug into this, we realized that we were not alone. There are millions of professionals in tech, finance, consulting, entertainment, healthcare, who all fall into this gap between retail and private banking. Globally, there are 680 million affluent professionals with roughly 270 trillion in assets, all of them underserved. As people deepen consumer fintech, having built products like Google Pay, Google Finance, we felt that if we brought deep tech and great user experiences into the world of wealth management, we would be able to democratize private banking and unlock financial superpowers for many, many more. So we pulled together a really strong cross-functional team from tech and finance and started Arta with support of an amazing set of angels and incredible investors like Ribbit, Peak 15, Coatue, and the Singapore Economic Development Board. Arta is a comprehensive wealth platform, giving our clients access to private market investments from elite fund managers, intelligent public market strategies, structured products, and sophisticated financial services such as insurance and estate planning. Arta combines deep financial expertise with great tech and beautiful UX to help our clients grow, protect, and enjoy their wealth. We launched the wealth platform in the US in late 2023. Last October, we launched globally via Singapore. So now we're available to accredited investors from around the world. In October, we also introduced Arta's Wealth as a Service offering. This enables our partner banks, financial institutions, advisors, to leverage the Arta platform to serve their clients, either by white labeling the entire platform or via APIs. And today we have a number of partners in various stages of integrating with Arta's Wealth as a Service, with the first two launching within the next few weeks. The first is NTUC Income Advisors, a division of the largest general insurer in Singapore. They have rolled out the Arta platform under their own brand to their client advisors, standing up a completely new wealth experience in just a few months. The next is Wio Bank, one of the fastest growing banks in the UAE. And they're using our APIs to embed Arta's investment products in their own app. This will allow them to serve a growing demand for wealth management services in the Middle East with minimal upfront expenditure on their side. And today, we're building on that foundation to take Arta and wealth building to the next level. What many in the industry call the next leap in wealth management is happening now. And at the center of it all, artificial intelligence. And more specifically, AI agents. The last 2 years since OpenAI launched ChatGPT have been one of the most exciting times in the history of tech. Rarely have we seen people and industries adopt a technology so fast or seen an underlying technology evolve so rapidly. There are new developments in AI literally every few hours, and the pace is only accelerating. Some industries will adopt AI rapidly. Others, where, say, lives are at stake, like healthcare, self-driving cars, may take a bit more time. But as we've seen with Waymo in San Francisco, when the change happens, it will be transformative. So, what about wealth? Today, when a client engages with a wealth manager, say at a private bank or an advisory firm, their experience is always gated by a human, whether it's their relationship manager, advisor, analyst, maybe the operational staff. Pretty much everything requires manual intervention to learn about products, create an investment plan, research new opportunities. At Arta, we flipped this order. You're in control. With the Arta Wealth Management Platform, our members can direct their own wealth journey if they so choose. And when they need more help, they can contact an Arta expert anytime on their own terms. And now with the developments in artificial intelligence, we can already see a world in the very near future where many of these experiences will be assisted by AI. By making these journeys seamless, intuitive, and more cost-effective, AI will accelerate our mission to unlock the financial superpowers of the ultra-wealthy to millions more. This trend is not new. Over the years, we've seen financial services evolve dramatically, breaking down traditional barriers and shifting power into the hands of more people. Today, we're witnessing the biggest transformation yet with the application of AI and agents. So to put this change into context, I'd like to bring someone who's seen and driven technology transformation in finance firsthand, Ralph Hamers. For those of you who may not be familiar with Ralph's background, he spent decades at the forefront of financial innovation. He served as the CEO of UBS, the largest private bank in the world, and prior to that, as the CEO of ING, which was one of the first global institutions to launch a fully digital bank globally. Ralph is an angel investor, advisor to Arta, a mentor to me, and is helping us shape the future of wealth management. So please join me in welcoming Ralph in conversation with Mel, our CMO.
Well, this is going to be an exciting talk. My name's Mel. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. It's my great pleasure and huge privilege to have Ralph with me. Ralph has been an amazing mentor and a guider to Arta's journey over the years, and I can't be more excited to have you here. So welcome, Ralph.
I'm excited as well.
So as we heard from Caesar, you've been at the forefront of some of the biggest institutions in wealth and finance. And you've been seeing a lot of change that has been happening from the introductions of new technologies. You've shared this with us through some of your fireside chats with us as a team, but for the audience here, maybe you can share with us a little bit more about what you've seen throughout history, about that kind of change and disruption that you've seen in finance and wealth.
Sure. I'll put some historic perspective to what happened to the financial industry, and basically you will see that also as some kind of the future of the financial industry. One of the reasons why technology has always disrupted the financial industry, whichever phase and stage of technology was in, is because the financial industry deals with intangible goods. There's no physical good there. It's money, and money has become more and more digital, and digital has become something that is somewhere in zeros and ones, right? And therefore, from the beginning when technology came in, when computers had processing power to deal with vast amount of data, just to kind of process it, not even to use it or enrich it or translate it into intelligence, but just process it, you saw that the disruption came to, for example, the trading floors, right? We all remember, at least people from my age, we remember that, the New York Stock Exchange trading floor was a floor where people would have paper, would shout and yell at each other, and intuitively try to make prices, and thereafter the settlements and all the processing needed to happen. And all of that then suddenly, within a couple of years, disappeared. empty floors, and everything happened much faster, much cheaper, much more precise. The algorithms at that moment in time already were making better prices as well. And so suddenly the trading floors were gone, completely gone. And the service was even better, right? And then after the electronification, if I may call it like that, came the digital technology. First with internet, and then the digital technology, where there was an access of a lot of the financial information, but also a lot of the processing of financial operations that people could now start doing themselves at home, rather than having to stand in line in the branch, right? That was not a perfect experience, was it? But now you could actually do it behind your computer, large screen still, you know, twice a month people would put in their payments and people would do their internet banking. Then digital came with the smartphone and the touch screen, and it became even more intuitive. And the digital activity has basically helped, the digital technology has basically helped bankers to outsource a lot of work, because a lot of the processing that people were doing within the bank is now done by the clients. And the clients felt this was a better experience. Funny, right? And the last step was literally also in the wealth space. So it got closer and closer to the intelligence part of banking. And clearly, you know, the brokerage was already there, right, with the E-Trade and the Robinhood that was processing and all that. But also now, you know, the robo-portfolios came in. So the robo-advisors came in with a wealth fund and betterment. But nevertheless, you know, in the end, the customer felt not completely connected there. And that's the thing there where I think AI will come in.
I think it's really interesting to think through these different stages in the evolution of finance and wealth and investing through these lenses of what the advantages of what digital technologies have actually created. So first came that, you know, rapid processing ability, and then a digital experience. So, you know, digital banking became big, and now we're seeing this kind of really interesting inflection point where real intelligence is coming in via AI. But you mentioned a few things, which was one thing that I wanted to dig into, which was this idea of like algorithmic trading and automation. You know, we saw a lot of that become more available to people who had a lot of resources at their disposal, whether they were institutional investors or whether they were ultra high net worth people. And you know, you saw some of that automation in terms of trading and investing come to ordinary people, maybe through robo-advisors and so on. But you know, that full suite of sophisticated financial tools and techniques didn't really reach the normal person.
That's true. That's true.
What happened there?
Well, because just go back, right? So there's a lot of sophistication in a lot of these services and these products, right? So most of these sophisticated products and services get developed for the institutional business. And then once they're successful there, they try to make it, you know, workable for maybe family offices and ultra high net worth individuals. But there's a lot of human intelligence, there's a lot of professionals, a lot of expertise needed to do that. It's very expensive, right? So there's a cost side to those services. And therefore, you know, those services were never available, never accessible to, you know, the broader audience. But with AI, I actually think you can further decompose, you can further make smaller denominations in these products as well, and you can make it for the ones who are the client in a broader perspective. You can also make it more actionable, more accessible, more understandable as well. So I think that's what AI will do to that, and that's why a lot of these services still kept the base of the private banks and the wealth managers, right?
I think that's what we all here to hear today, which is this idea of AI being like the next leap in wealth management and investing. And a lot of people have hyped this up. So it's not just the industry, it's not just us who are at the forefront of technology here, but it's really everybody. We've heard from many people who have talked about like the potentials of what AI could bring to various industries, but particularly for investing in wealth. One of the most interesting perspectives came out not so long ago, which was from Michael Barr, who was the outgoing regulatory head over at the Federal Reserve. You know, in one of his last speeches as in that position, he was saying that He had a couple of predictions, or maybe not predictions, I should say more like hypotheticals. Those hypotheticals revolved around the role of AI in wealth and finance. He was talking about perhaps, an individualized portfolio for every investor, what he called hyper-personalized financial planning, and the potential for Gen AI to access huge troves of data, both in the public and private domain. And the combination of those two things, that hyper-personalization as well as the access to immense amounts of data, could open quite a few different opportunities. And that, I thought, was a pretty interesting hypothesis. And I'm wondering whether you think that AI is going to live up to this kind of hype.
I'm a big believer, clearly. I'm a big believer. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here on stage, right? No, but I am a big believer because, in the end, it comes down to the same thing again, right? So the larger banks, the wealth managers, of course, they have a lot of people working with, going through the data, developing products, seeing how new products can be developed in order to address specific customer needs as well. On the other side, you have the advisors that put a lot of time in understanding their clients from an estate planning perspective, legacy issues as well, appetite, horizons, the whole thing. So there's a lot of time going into understanding the client. There's a lot of time going into what kind of products can we have, right? Now, both sides are subject to a lot of change here because these clients increasingly, their needs are more driven by not what they say they need, but what you can observe they truly need, right? So a lot of clients will tell you, well, this is my expense behavior, but you should be able to observe the expense behavior because a lot of what clients say is not necessarily what they do, right? Or this is my risk appetite, whereas if you then see them being interested in a particular product, a structured product, which is outside of their risk appetite, that's kind of an anomaly, right? So, and you can actually deal with that because you can observe that in terms of how they search information, how they even make investments themselves as well. Now, no advisor can do that for so many clients at the same time, let alone, right? So, and on the other side, if you deal in these large institutions with hundreds, if not thousands of products or solutions that are there, it is humanly impossible to get the right service to the right need, right? So AI will drive both sides of this, where the advisor will be supported by much more information, by much more tailored and bespoke advice that then the advisor can bring to the client, right? And that is the opportunity that AI brings to both sides.
I think though, a lot of us can't get to that hyper-personalized portfolio and a lot of that advice and those kind of products without the role of a very trusted advisor, whether it's a financial planner, maybe it's a relationship manager. And so we rely on these people in our lives to help us make sense of it all, and that's how it's been through most of history, right? Now with the advent of AI, processing these vast amounts of data, turning them into insights, what's the role of the human in all of this, especially as the whole industry adopts more and more AI techniques?
Well, in the end, so the human will play a role and continue to play a role, depending on whether the client basically appreciates that or not, right? In the end, the client is the one that makes the choice, right? But the human continues to play that role. But for that human to be able to actually deliver that portfolio of one, as we would call it, right? So back in the days, in a digital time, we were always thinking about how can we create in the marketing space this segment of one. So how can we kind of have everybody representing a specific segment so that you get the advertising that only works for you, right?
You're talking to a marketer here,
yeah,
yes.
Exactly. So, and here, what we see here is that you get the portfolio that only works for you, right? And that's what we're doing. But then the question is still, will that client understand that so well themselves, right? Or do you still need the advisor? Or can AI actually be so close to a human being in terms of how it came to the advice, the transparency as to that as well, how it interacts with the client, as well. So that trust factor is the one that we should unpeel, and that's the next step in my view.
Yeah, I think that AI does have a lot of potential in helping people, one, understand what is going on, but then secondly, broaden that access. And the way that it creates access, I think, is by breaking down these institutional barriers. And I think you touched on a few of these. There were things like the cost barriers of some of these firms to even produce these services. Some of them might be in minimums. So some of these opportunities, these investment opportunities, you just have to have a bucket load of money in order to be able to participate, right? And I'd be really interested to hear from you around, today, what is the situation and in some of these financial firms, and what do these financial firms need to do in order to take advantage of all these opportunities offered by AI and greater digitization?
So clearly many of these larger financial institutions, I ran 2 of them, always cope with legacy, right? So that's just what it is. These are older institutions. They have technology that may be a bit older. And by the way, your technology decision of today is your legacy of tomorrow as well. So, Caesar, you will start managing legacy yourself, right? It's just how it works. Technology develops so quickly that so your decision today is your problem of tomorrow. And these large institutions have that as well, but they have massive products into these systems. They have all the client information into these systems as well. So there's different ways to go about how you work with AI in a large institution. If you feel it is just something there that you should not miss out on, great. You will see them announcing we have a chief AI officer or stuff like that. But if you truly believe that AI will drive your business into a completely different business model, which I think it does, specifically in the wealth industry, you can't just appoint a chief AI officer or whatever you want to call a person. Then you should really review the opportunity in AI, what it does to how you understand your clients, how you can manage and inform your advisors and train your advisors, and how you can deal with the vast amount of data and make it work for them. Then you basically need to see that as your new business model. If that is what you then see as your new business model, you've got to go about checking how do you interact with the client, what kind of advisors do you really need. Not the ones who do a lot of operational stuff, but the ones who are truly the advisors, right? How do your systems, what kind of systems do you need? What kind of technology do you need? That is a transformation program. You need a completely different culture because you also have to deal with a lot of resistance in an organization where people will always feel threatened that their jobs may be at risk as well, which happens, right? Which happens in every industry, but you better be very clear and upfront with it and say, well, but we do think there is a role for you here and here, or we will change you, or we will train you. Then just hide it, or even worse, don't see it as a threat or as an opportunity at all, and then basically in a couple of years you will not have that market position that you currently have. So that's the way for large institutions to deal with this. Embrace it, and make it a benefit and a strategy rather than try to move away from it.
And for these large institutions which are grappling with this kind of pace of change, I mean, it's very clear, like many people like yourselves and others in the industry are saying that they have to embrace it. They have to be able to make it part of their overall business. But how far can you push it in that direction? Like, does AI become part of your core competency when you're leading these big teams? Or like, how much do you need to partner and go out into the field and grab some of that expertise from elsewhere?
Well, I think AI is literally the last step in what technology does to banking, because the last foothold of bankers is about the content. We master content. We are professionals. We understand content, and we know how to translate content to your individual situation, right? And I can tell you, most of these bankers, who are really good bankers, will have a difficulty doing their job not being supported by AI. Because the clients will expect real-time portfolio updates and real-time calls from their advisor on changes in their portfolio on a real-time basis, right? It's virtually impossible to do that. Well, it's humanly impossible to do it, let me put it that way. And so if you feel that the last part of banking is in the content of banking, there is absolutely no option then to embrace AI. Because this is about content. And of course, there's one thing is about analyzing the content. The other thing is about making sure that the content is current at all times. And that's basically, and that's my point about trust, right? Trust goes to, so what is the human factor still then in banking? And that is the trust factor, right? Because it is still the advisor that these clients can relate to. And say, okay, but they are on top of my stuff. They will know. But for them to know, they need to be supported by AI. But the future could go even further. Certainly for the broader audience here, right? The broader clientele here, which is that if you can build AI in a way that it speaks like a human, right? Communicates like a human. That basically it speaks your language, English, German, or even speaks a language that you truly understand, not the jargon language, not the Wall Street Journal language, but the street language. If you get that, that's a trust factor. If your advice and how you got to your advice, you can literally, in a transparent way, say, well, but this is your risk appetite, this is your horizon, this is your personal situation, therefore we come to this solution in your portfolio. That content stuff. So it's about communication and content and transparency around the content. And the last factor then, to make it human, is is it truly committed? So in terms of observable changes in my needs, observable changes in my portfolio, is somebody reaching out to me? Or will this AI agent reach out to me? And that can be done as well, right? Real time. So the trust factor, and peeling the trust factor, you get to talking like a human, thinking like a human, and caring like a human. And I'm convinced that can be built.
Yeah, it's a high bar, but I think a lot of us in the industry are willing to try and rise to it. I think, though, one of the things that you mentioned in that is, trust is a huge integral factor into somebody adopting a new technology and also putting their money where, with a new service or a new financial institution. And in many cases, those kind of factors just like feed into a broader user experience and a broader user expectation that so many people have. And so I thank you for bringing that up. I think all of us are working towards this new user expectation that many of us have. Okay, so before I wrap up here, maybe you could give us a little bit of advice, sitting from your position here. Many of us are trying to create, new user experiences, new ways of engaging with our wealth, with money, and new ways of investing. And as we're trying to do this through technologies like AI and using digital tools, do you have any advice for us as we go around this?
Well, so my advice for everyone anyway is always embrace change, right? Don't fight change, and always embrace the opportunity. That's advice number one. I think for Arta, as a company, what is truly important is that AI and technology brings an abundance of opportunity. Don't get lost. Don't get lost in the opportunity, but use the technology for your clients. You're building a business, and if you have technology that's super interesting, but you can't see it being used for your clients, let it go. It's not relevant now. You can touch up on it when you're back home, but not in the business, right? Because you're building a business, and in the end, you're building a business for clients. So everything you do, whether it is front, center, or back in any company, should be focused on the client. And the third thing is that the way we build digital disruptors at ING is that a digital disruptor should stay clean, which basically means that whatever you initiate and whatever you launch as a new service, if for any reason it is not successful, which happens in real banks as well and bigger banks as well, it happens, take it off the shelf as soon as possible. Take it out of the offering. Because if you keep small offerings that were only half successful, there's two things. First, clients will get confused because there's too much, right? And secondly, it will catch up with you. In the end, you are regulated. You have products out there. You have compliance issues if you don't maintain these products in the right way. So it will catch up with you. So clean up after yourself, like you do at home as well. That's the way you run your business.
Well, thank you so much, Ralph. It's been a huge privilege to hear from you, and wish us luck.
Good luck.
Well, with that, I'd love us to move forward to experience how Arta is building towards this AI future. I'd love to welcome my friends, Edward Chiang and Rajan, from the Arta team to show you how we're building this for wealth.
Hi, I'm Rajan, Director of Product at Arta. I'm here to show you how Arta has approached wealth management through our platform. Then Ed will share how we've applied AI to unlock its potential for wealth management. Before we dive in, here's a recap of the Arta platform as it stands today and what every Arta member gets when they join. Arta is available globally to accredited investors today who can open a variety of accounts, from individual to joint to trust to IRA. There are no minimums, and members can get started in a few minutes. All member assets are held in custody in their name at Bank of New York Pershing, one of the world's largest custodians. And so that members can invest with confidence, Arta runs on security infrastructure that's built with standards similar to the biggest technology companies, paired with the privacy and discretion of regulated financial institutions. But what our members tell us they like the most is that we bring together the best of tech and the expertise of humans in one seamless experience. Digital when you want it, and humans when you need them. Let me switch to the product. This is the Arta web app on a desktop. Arta offers Android and iOS apps too. When a member logs in, they see a dashboard with key information, from their portfolio balance to stocks they're tracking to upcoming events. Now, let's jump into the financial superpowers that we unlock for you. Arta offers access to private investments, personalized public market portfolios, high yields on your cash, and some very powerful tools to optimize your tax exposure. In short, many of the products and services that you would typically find at top private banks and wealth managers. We'll start with private investments. Our team of private markets experts carefully diligence and curate top-tier managers across private equity, private credit, real estate, venture capital, and hedge funds. You'll notice, because we're in a public setting, we've redacted the names of the specific funds, which can only be shown to our members. So we'll demo instead using a made-up fund, Azure Peak, following the time-honored tradition of naming your fund after a color and a geographical feature. Members can invest independently or discuss potential investments with an Arta private markets expert. Investments start at a couple $1,000s, and the entire experience is digital and intuitive. You can read the 80-page prospectus, or you can just scroll through and see returns, evaluate the key attributes of the fund, and decide whether this investment is right for you. And again, the entire experience is digital. From investments to capital calls to distributions, it all happens on Arta. Arta also offers multiple ways to generate yield from your cash, including our very popular high-yield cash reserve, which not only lets our clients benefit from the high interest rates today, but also offers tax benefits in many states. Arta's approach to public markets is really unique. Arta has developed a trading infrastructure similar to what you would find at quant funds to automate public markets investing. This enables us to run sophisticated strategies deeply personalized at an individual level while keeping fees in check. So with Arta, clients can get a unique portfolio made just for them. This can include various automated strategies from simple robos to direct indexing to quant strategies, all personalized to your risk tolerance. These strategies run in concert with tax loss harvesting happening at the account level. Let me show you an example of how customizable this platform can get. In addition to market indexing strategies, Arta offers satellite strategies, which are custom baskets of securities grouped to a specific theme. We found that finance professionals especially, like many of you in the room, often have particular investment views and want to express them in custom portfolios. Think of these like mini ETFs. So here we're showing a few themes that have been quite popular. Let's jump into public-private equity. This is a strategy that lets you invest into listed companies that specialize in private equity. You can add or subtract any that you'd like, and in addition to selecting which stocks to trade, you can also set the exact allocations. For example, your preference may be to remove Blackstone or increase the allocation to Ares. Your portfolio will rebalance regularly using your allocations. You can also tap on Generate Scorecard and see detailed historical analysis and key financial metrics compared to popular benchmarks across a time horizon of your choice. This analysis will instantly generate metrics like Sharpe ratio, volatility, and investment style to help you decide whether to invest or not. This type of analysis would take a human multiple days. You now have it at your fingertips. And this is just one of the ways that each client can direct a unique portfolio with a few $1,000s, compared to the millions needed to justify a truly personalized mandate today. Arta also offers structured products. So instead of flooding our clients with hundreds of complex structures, our team of derivatives experts carefully analyzes market trends and designs a few structured products based on current market conditions each week. Then, we run an auction with our issuing banks, like JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and UBS, and make the product available at the most competitive price, with investments starting at $10,000. The experience is fully digital, and to our members, it's as easy as buying a stock. Last but not least, we also offer a variety of family office services from our in-house team of experts. For example, Arta offers multiple insurance strategies, including private placement life insurance, that enable our clients to invest in alternative assets and pass this wealth onto their beneficiaries, in many cases completely tax-free. We set out to bring the financial superpowers of the ultra-wealthy to millions more, and we're proud to say that at this point, Arta's product range is comparable to, if not more robust than, most private banks, with the addition of a seamless, intuitive experience and competitive pricing passed on to our members. But building the private wealth platform was just step one, and now we're taking the next step, building Arta AI and a team of virtual agents that can serve you across your wealth management journey. Let me hand it over to Ed to share more.
Thanks, Anu. Hey everyone, I'm Ed. I'm one of Arta's co-founders. And before we jump in, I just want to share a little bit of background. Applying AI to wealth and finance is really different than a lot of other industries where you can put a wrapper around ChatGPT or Gemini and you can call it AI. First, wealth is a really regulated space. There's lots of checks and balances to protect clients. And that's something an off-the-shelf model just can't do. Secondly, to provide really personalized insights, the system needs access to sensitive client data, and that data cannot leave our systems. And finally, and most importantly, wealth and investing are really time sensitive. So the S&P 500 1 month ago is not the same as the S&P 500 today. Investment decisions depend on all of this: access to correct data, historical context, and secure client information. So we built an AI infrastructure that tackles all of these problems. Instead of relying on one single model, we use a variety of open source models, commercial large language models, and proprietary machine learning models. Our LLMs are fine-trained on our in-house hardware, but we run them on cloud infra to optimize performance. We've built something that selects the right agent for the right task. So for instance, we use agentic AI for complex reasoning, function calling for real-time data retrieval, and complex optimizations when doing precise financial analysis. Now, when building with AI, data is just as important as the software. So beyond public information on the web, our systems also have access to proprietary financial data from places like MSCI Barra, Bloomberg, Dow Jones, and the Wall Street Journal. And most importantly, Arta is securely integrated with the client's portfolio. And this lets us deliver insights with the accuracy, security, and intelligence that is required in wealth management. So today, I get to introduce to you Arta AI. Arta AI gives you a whole suite of AI agents to help you analyze portfolios, explore different investment ideas, and access financial insights on demand. Today, Arta AI includes the investment planner, the research analyst, and the product specialist agents. And we're going to keep adding more of these over time. The investment planner takes in your financial profile, preferences, and creates you a personalized investment plan. This includes tailored allocations across public and private markets and adapts as circumstances change. The product specialist knows everything about Arta and Arta's products and can help you understand and navigate the entire offering. And finally, the research analyst takes in a theme or a hypothesis that you might have and goes to work, researches and builds a portfolio that fits that theme, together with a detailed analysis that helps you make a decision. So let me show you all of this stuff. Okay. So you tap on Arta AI on the side. This is your portfolio recap. So portfolio recap looks at your account. Every day, it generates a whole set of reports on how your account is doing. It does this for the trailing 1 day, 7 day, and 30 days, and even does it in multiple writing styles. So whether you want lots of fancy finance terms or if you feel like just hearing it in Gen Z slang. We've also been using text-based LLMs across Arta for a long time now, and members really like this feature. But honestly, the more we use this, the more we kept wanting to build something way more interactive, way more engaging, something that makes you feel like you have someone dedicated to you at all times. So let me introduce you to that someone. Hey, Arta, what's up? How's your afternoon going?
It's going well. Thanks for asking. I'm all about helping you with your financial plans and investments, so I don't really have afternoons like humans do, but I'm always ready to chat and assist you. What's on your mind today? Want to talk about your investments or something else?
No, I don't really want to talk about my investments right now, but I have a whole room of people here, and they're all here to meet you. So can you say hi to everyone?
A whole room of people. That's a new one. Well, I'd be happy to say hello to everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm the Arta Investment Planner. Nice to meet you all. I hope you're all doing well. Feel free to ask me any questions or just say hello. I'm all ears, or rather, all text.
Do you have ears?
No, I don't have ears. I'm just a computer program, so I don't have a physical body. I'm here to help answer your questions and provide information, but I don't have the ability to hear or see like a human would.
Okay. All right. So this is Arta AI. It's an agentic voice model, and it acts as your investment planner. And we're finding it really changes the way you interact with your finances. To start, it knows my account, so I can ask it questions at any time. Let me give this a shot. All right, Arta, I'm back. Can you tell me how my account's been doing recently?
Let me check on that for you. Based on the provided data, your Arta managed portfolio has had a return of negative 6.61% from February 28, 2025 to March 28, 2025. Here's a breakdown of the performance. Please note that this calculation only includes public equities and does not account for other assets like structured products, alternatives, or derivatives. If you'd like more details or have specific questions about—
Do you know what's driving all of these movements?
Good question. Let's look into that. Based on the provided data, the movements in your portfolio seem to be driven by various market and economic factors. For instance, the tech sector has been experiencing significant shifts, with companies like Tesla facing sales declines, while others like Microsoft are seeing revenue boosts from their cloud services and AI initiatives. Additionally, the acquisition of cybersecurity firm Wiz by Alphabet Inc. for $32 billion and Amazon's 10.0% rise in net sales for Q4 2024.0 are also influencing the market. Here's a summary of some key events. These events, among others, are contributing to the fluctuations in your portfolio. If you have any specific questions or would like more information on a particular aspect, feel free to ask.
All right, and last question. Hey, Arta, last question for now. How much did I get in dividends in the last month?
Let me check that for you. According to the provided data, in the last month, you received $4,932.48 in dividends, spread across 55.0 dividend payments. Here's a summary.
All right. So this is really cool. This is really cool because the way you would usually get this data on an app is you would open a page, it has a bunch of numbers and graphs, and you would kind of like go through and look for them. This is a really fast way to ask for a specific piece of information that you're looking for, and then actually also ask for what's driving a lot of the movements. And it's a very, very natural way of interacting with your finances. The other thing that Arta knows about is the Arta app and all the products on the Arta platform. So let me give that a shot. Hey, Arta, I was thinking about Microsoft stock. Can you send me to the Microsoft stock page, please?
Let's check out Microsoft's stock page.
Got it, cool. And I've been prepping for this demo and I haven't done my taxes. Can you send me to where all my Arta documents are?
Taxes can be a pain. Let me help you with that. Checking your account documents now.
All right, and then last one. I've got this idea for a satellite portfolio I want to make. Can you send me to the research analysts?
Let's explore that idea. Checking the research analyst now.
All right. So if I want to go to the Microsoft stock page, I can tap here. I get my holdings, I get the current share price, I get the company overview, which you would get at most other financial apps as well. The cool thing here I want to call out is we also have a stock analysis section. So I talked about how we use large language models all over Arta. This is one of those places. Every single day, we have a set of models that goes and reads the news for every single ticker on Arta. And then we generate this for every single ticker. So as you go and tap through different stocks, you can see this stock analysis. All right, if I want to go do my taxes after this demo, I'll go here. I don't want to think about that right now, so I'll do something else. And then this is our research analyst. So let me pause for a bit. We talked earlier about how this is all an agentic system. There are multiple LLMs. They're all working together. For instance, there's one that's generating all the voice. There's another one that's taking my voice and translating it into text. There's a third one that's reasoning and trying to figure out what my intents are when I'm talking to it. And then there are all these other ones that are calling functions, retrieving data, putting that whole voice experience together. That's one place where we use an agentic system. Research analyst is another place where we use an agentic system where multiple agents work together. And the way it works here is, let's say I had a private banker. I have an idea for a portfolio I want to put together. I asked them to please do some research for me. They'll spin up a team, a bunch of people will do a bunch of work, and they'll put a report together for me over a couple of days. For us, we do this with LLM agents. And so I can type in any theme I want, but I'm going to tap on this one, companies in NVIDIA supply chain. And what's going to happen is each of these blocks of text is an agent that is spun up. And actually, they're all working together. So there's one that starts, it starts breaking down the task and spins off other agents to help it. So for instance, some of them are looking at component manufacturers. Other ones are looking at materials in the components themselves. There are other ones looking at competitors and how their supply chains look. Each of these agents has access to both the web and all the proprietary data that we have in Arta. They finish their work. There's actually a third agent that checks all of these agents to make sure that there's no hallucinations. And then what we get at the end of it is an investment memo. So there's a summary section that talks about what it understood the prompt to be. There's an approach section which talks about what each of the agents did. You have a conclusion section which goes through what it concluded at the end, and then of course at the end it cites its sources. And then what you get on the other side is a custom satellite portfolio, kind of like what Anu showed you. And again, you can look at the scorecard and look at the allocations and go from there. This is a really, really cool way where we apply an agentic system to a research topic. All right. Now, the next thing I want to show you is I want to go back to the investment planner. So I talked about how Arta AI has access to your account. It has access to a bunch of data sources. It knows the Arta app. But the other thing in the background is it has an overall investment plan for you. And so if I tap on this bar on the bottom, your investment plan comes up. The thing I want to call out here is over the course of the last few days, as I've been talking to it, it's extracted a bunch of personal factors about me. For instance, my income, my primary residence, kind of my risk profile, how much lockup period I'm comfortable with. It knows I have 2 kids, Theo and Penny. It knows that they're 4 years old and 2 years old. It knows my wife's name is Joyce. And I think knows I don't have any liquidity needs right now. If I tap on this investment plan, what I get is a custom-made investment plan for me based on what I told it. So this goals section at the top is the synthesis of all the things that I've told it before. This strategy section breaks out what strategy it has for me based on the things that it understands. And so I have some fixed income, some public markets, some private market investments. There's a section on the portfolio construction philosophy, and the thing I wanted to call out here is there are two systems that are working together very tightly. One is the large language model, which just makes understanding a user much more natural. So I don't have to go and fill out a bunch of papers and fill out a bunch of forms. I just talk, and it extracts all this information about me. Then there's a second deterministic quant model, which is actually making the portfolio. So for that one, on a given set of inputs, it will always output the same thing on the other side. So that's how we know our portfolio recommendations are robust. And those portfolio recommendations look like this. This is my public equities and fixed income section. It's 70% of my portfolio sits here. These are the Arta products that make up it. This is the private market section. And as life changes and as the plan changes, these will change as well. So the first thing I wanted to show you after this is that Arta makes it really easy for me to understand this plan. Kind of like what Ralph said, where we have to speak the same language as the person that is talking to it. So let's give this a shot. All right, Arta, can you pull up that investment plan you put together for me?
Let me check on that for you. Based on your investment plan, I've extracted the key details below.
Whoa, that's a lot of stuff. Do you mind throwing that in a simpler table for me or something?
Let me simplify that for you. Here's a simpler table summarizing your investment plan. This table shows the products in your investment plan, their respective weights, and the asset classes they belong to. Let me know if you have any further questions or if there's anything else I can help you with.
Yeah, actually, was there also stuff around my expected returns and expected volatility?
I recall that we did discuss some metrics around your investment plan. Let me pull up the details for you. Based on your investment plan, here are the expected performance metrics. These metrics provide an overview of what you can expect from your investment portfolio in terms of returns, risk, and income generation. The expected return of 9.96 indicates the potential annual return of your portfolio, while the estimated volatility of 13.44 represents the potential fluctuations in your portfolio's value. The estimated Sharpe ratio of 0.5.
Got it. Okay, Arta, this is pretty intimidating. It's a lot of numbers. I'm pretty new to all this stuff. Would you mind just like talking to me a little bit more casually, maybe just like use shorter sentences?
I'll try to keep it simple. What do you want to know about your investment plan?
So I don't really understand what 13.44 estimated volatility means, and I don't have that much financial knowledge.
So volatility is like how much your investments might go up or down in value. The 13.44 number is like a score. It means your investments might fluctuate around 13.0% in a year. Think of it like a roller coaster. If it's high, the ride is bumpier. If it's low, the ride is smoother. Make sense?
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Now I feel a little bit more comfortable. I saw something about defensive growth and robo growth. Like, how do I think about the two of those?
Defensive growth and robo growth are like two different strategies. Defensive growth is more cautious. It's like playing it safe. It's trying to grow your money, but also protect it from big losses. Robo growth is more aggressive. It's like trying to grow your money faster, but it might be a bit riskier. Think of it like driving. Defensive growth is like cruising on a highway. Robo growth is like taking a faster road with some bumps.
Okay. So what you saw was I started with a plan. It was pretty complicated. I didn't really understand all the numbers. I kept asking it to kind of simplify it for me and simplify it for me and simplify it for me. Now I'm much more comfortable asking it questions. And the way to think about this is this thing is endlessly patient with me. I can ask it all the silly, stupid questions that I'm scared to ask a real human. And it will always speak me back in kind of a language that I feel comfortable with. And that's really the power of what you can do with AI. All right. Last thing I want to show is life changes, right? Like you have a financial plan. You might change it. You might, like today, you would go to a financial planner. They'd make you a new plan. You'd pay them some money. A couple years later, you might make another plan. You pay them some money. With Arta, we're always there to update this plan for you. It can keep updating. You can ask it as many times to update as possible. So I just want to go through a little bit of a scenario here. Hey, Arta. Okay, so the last week in New York has been awesome. I really want to go back and convince Joyce that we should buy an investment property in the city. What would that do to my investment plan?
Let me check on that for you. Buying an investment property in New York would likely impact your liquidity and tax situation. This is because investment properties often require significant upfront costs and ongoing expenses, which could reduce your liquidity. Additionally, investment properties can provide tax benefits like deductions on mortgage interest and property taxes, which could increase your tax efficiency.
Do you know if I have like other large cash outflows that I have to think about?
Let me check your financial profile. You have 2 significant cash outflows coming up. Saving for your children's tuition, specifically for Theo and Penny, and potentially buying that investment property in New York. These are both sizable expenses that you'll want to factor into your financial planning to ensure you have enough liquidity to cover them.
I did not remember the kids' schooling. Okay, I won't buy the house.
No worries, it can be tough to keep track of everything. Prioritizing your kids' education is a great decision, though. Let's just update your financial profile to reflect that you're not planning to buy the investment property in New York.
One day I will get this apartment. All right. I'm at the end of my demo script. I just wanted to give Arta a chance to say goodbye. Hey, Arta, I think you and I are done with our section. Would you mind just saying goodbye to the audience? And hopefully you're not too tired after this whole demo.
It was a pleasure chatting with you and helping you understand your investment plan. I'm not tired at all, though. I'm just a language model, so I don't get fatigued like humans do. To our audience, thanks for joining us on this demo conversation. I hope you got a sense of how I can help users like you navigate their investment plans and make informed financial decisions. If you have any questions or topics you'd like to discuss, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Until next time, stay financially savvy and take care.
Okay. All right. All right. I might be getting a little arrogant, but I want to try one more thing because Ralph is here. Hey, would you mind doing that in Dutch? Dutch, not
Let's take a look at your... Om met je te praten en je te helpen bij het begrijpen van je beleggingsplan. Ik hoop dat je een goede indruk hebt gekregen van hoe ik je kan helpen bij het nemen van financiële beslissingen. Als je nog vragen hebt of onderwerpen wilt bespreken, neem dan gerust contact met me op. Tot de volgende keer, blijf financieel slim en pas goed op jezelf.
Is it any good? All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Hopefully this gives you a sense of like all the cool things we can do with AI and how voice can really change your interaction with your finances. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. It was such a thrill to finally be able to show this to all of you. These are still early days, but even to get to this point was so much work. What you saw in the demo was 12 fine-tuned AI models working in concert with a quant model in the background and the entire Arta platform. This nearly killed us, but we survived. And we have a lot more cooking that we are looking forward to getting into the hands of our members over the next few weeks and months. You just saw Ed try out the language stuff. The model already speaks multiple languages, so people around the world, it's coming soon. But Arta AI is not just limited to our members and our clients around the world. I'm also very excited to share that Arta AI will be available to banks and financial institutions as part of our Wealth as a Service offering. Some of our partners want to roll this out to not only their clients, but also to their relationship managers and advisors to help them scale and to take on more business. I'm hoping we can help the entire ecosystem through AI. So this is kind of cool tech, but we are talking about people's money. And trust is really important here. And let's be honest, user trust is one of the biggest challenges for any technology to overcome. We believe trust is earned through consistency, communication, and care, as Ralph has been guiding us for a while. So far, we've concentrated on making sure that the system is architected to deliver consistent outputs, minimizing hallucinations, drawing on a solid bank of verified and time-relative data with the systematic approach and the precision needed for wealth management. The next step is communication. Interactive voice obviously is a big step forward here. But over the next few months, we'll add more languages and some personality, so these interactions feel even more natural. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to select the agent that you want. Right? You can do that to your advisors and bankers today. Last but not the least is care. And that's a really important part of building trust. Arta AI places your interests at the center of everything it does. It can already adapt to your changing financial situations, and we are working on making it even more proactive, so it can look out for major changes in your life, your investments, or in the market. And here's the beauty of using AI for these agents. First, we're going to keep improving Arta AI with new releases almost every week. Second, these systems automatically get more useful as you interact with them more and they learn more about you. And third, the entire field of AI is progressing rapidly. So even as we at Arta focus on applying AI to wealth management and investing in a responsible and safe manner, we can leverage the progress the entire AI industry is making. We're riding a huge wave. Can it replace private bankers and advisors? Not yet. However, Arta AI is improving rapidly. And in some aspects, these agents can already surpass what humans all can do. They have access to more data and compute faster and more accurately than most of us today. So we see a future where everyone can have an AI private banker or an AI advisor on their phone, available 24/7, in the language and personality of your choosing, that knows your preferences, has access to nearly infinite knowledge, and serves you and only you. At Arta, we're here to build with you, partner with you, and redefine wealth management together. Thank you for being here and for being part of the future of wealth. Thank you.